What's up guys, Jeff Cavaliere, ATHLEAN-X.com. Today we're talking about building muscle, and we're going to keep it basic guys, because I am going to make this the most helpful video that you ever saw on this topic, and it might actually throw a few curveballs your way. Because I'm going to tell you right now, everything that we do in this video is going to revolve around one thing, and that is intensity. And not just what you might think it is, but also how intensely focused you are on that goal and how you're going to get there. Now let me just clarify right off the bat that this intensity is not necessarily what I'm talking about.
Shit! Damn it!
Okay, not that. What we're talking about is an element of that, but more importantly, like I said in the open, how intensely focused you are on the goal that you're saying that you are. If you're trying to build muscle here and that is what your goal is, how really committed are you to it? And it starts with a plan, because if you don't have that, you're not getting there. I can guarantee you that. Think about how many times you've seen people who walk into the gym, they accidentally think that just by swiping that gym card, they somehow earned their man card. Okay, I did it. I showed up. I'm building muscle. No, you're not. You haven't done anything yet. You've just showed up. When you go to the gym, you have to have some sort of a plan for that day and how it's going to get you closer to that goal. And then how it relates in the bigger picture to where you're going from there. How does that single workout set you up for the next one? You see, far too many times I see people walk into the gym and they're doing what they like to call instinctive training. Instinctive training doesn't mean like, I'm going to do this machine because it's next to this machine. Realizing that this is an abductor machine for my thighs and this is a bicep curl machine. And sure, you might be on that Buns and Guns program or whatever it is that you're following at the moment, and maybe it's justified in that case, but most of the time they're not. They're just walking around the gym doing whatever's close to each other with no real plan. That's instinctive, but not in a good way. Or they're like, well, I know better than that, Jeff. I'll just do back exercises, right? I'm going to do a pull down, I'm going to do pull-ups, and they're all back exercises. So I'm actually approaching this very scientifically. Maybe not, because what you're looking at here is doing a bunch of vertical pulling exercises. Where are you working in horizontal pulling? When are you changing the planes around? Are you actually just overlapping strength curves? Should you be mixing in cables with dumbbells because you can get strength curves that actually are going to complement each other? So there's more to it than that. And if your goal here is hypertrophy, you also have to understand that there's an element of strength that needs to lay at the base of that. You can't just come in and maybe, look, I know it, maybe you've seen an exercise that I did on this channel. It looked appealing, it looked creative, it looked fun, you wanted to try it out. But there's got to be more to it than that. You have to be willing to commit to the basics, the compound movements, and rely on progressive overload to build that foundation of strength, because you're going to need the strength to ultimately help you get as big as possible. But we know that there's elements here that people overlook all the time because they don't have a plan. You need to have a plan, and everything starts from there. Okay, so the plan is in place now, but now you actually have to do something. And this is where the second big focus comes in, and that is on your effort. What are you actually doing? How much effort are you exerting when you actually go to pick up the weights? And this is your biggest opportunity, because if you blow this, I can tell you, you're not going to grow. So here's what I'm talking about. I'm actually going to show you in action what it looks like. This is me just doing a set of an incline dumbbell bench press. And I want you to actually see what it's like as I approach a set. Now, I didn't go into the set thinking that there's a specific number that I have to hit, because right off the bat, throw the numbers out the window. The numbers are there for a guideline. The hypertrophy range is in the 10 to 12 rep range. It could go 7, 8, 9. People can grow muscle in any of those ranges if the effort level is there. But in the generally accepted range of 10 to 12, how are you approaching this? Are you stopping just because you hit a number? That's a major mistake. Instead, let your effort guide you. Push as hard as you can. Try to accomplish something in this set that you've never accomplished before, if possible. And I realize that that's not always necessary. Some people are going to say, well, what if I want to train for volume? If I'm training for volume here, I'm going to be doing submaximal training. So every set's going to be a little bit submax. I'm going to leave some in the tank. Well, let me tell you this about volume training, guys. If the accrual, the addition, the additive effect of all of those submaximal sets isn't in and of itself a stressor or a stimulus for growth, then guess what? All you're doing is a bunch of shitty warm-up sets. You need to have that accrual of all that volume to become a stressor if it's going to provide the intensity needed to create overload. So guys, you need to bring whatever it is that you're training for. Bring that effort and intensity to every single thing you do, and that is when you're going to start to see those noticeable changes from your hard work. Okay, so I left you hanging there at the end of that last set for a reason, because I actually wasn't finished. It looked like I might have been done, but not quite so fast. What I actually do is I like to add set intensifiers, and for me, I rely on a rest pause technique here. Something that allows me to rest for a brief moment, to recoup, to regroup, to get back a little bit of strength so I can push through another couple reps, because every single additional rep that I can eke out, every bit of extra effort that I can put out in this set is going to be a stimulus for overload. And it doesn't just have to be this, it could be a superset, it could be a drop set. There's a lot of other techniques that you can use, but I really highly encourage you to not just quit when you think it's over, because you'll be surprised at how much your body is holding back. Your mind is way stronger than what your body is willing to give it. For once, let your mind be in charge. Let it say, hey, you know what, Jeff? Get your ass back on the bench and give me another couple reps. And you'll be surprised at what will come out of your body. I can guarantee you this, more reps. So use these set intensifying techniques if you want to see more from your workouts. Okay, so you had the plan, you exerted the effort, you went the extra mile here with the set intensifier, and the set is over. Now what happens? Well, if you're doing it the right way, you're going to respect your rest. Or you're going to do this. You're going to take out your phone, and you're going to start looking for what's going on Instagram, or maybe checking out what's going on Facebook, or maybe even, if you're going to do at least any YouTube, at least you're going to my channel, I hope, and you're looking for a video there. But that's not what you want to do when you're training. Instead, the only thing you should be taking this phone out for is to set the timer and make sure that you're getting your ass back on the bench again to do the next set exactly when the timer tells you to. Because if you're training for hypertrophy, I always like to say you can train hard or you can train long, but you can't do both. If you're training for hypertrophy, get yourself back in there 60 to 90 seconds rest. And you'll be surprised, for those guys that like to go on the phone, how fast that comes around. I want you prepared and ready for the next set so that when the timer hits, you're going into the next set. And that's a very short period of time if you actually start to hold yourself accountable to that. If you're training for strength on the other side of the coin, you might be trying to extend those rest periods. More 3 to 5 minutes, neurologically allowing your body to recover and regroup so you can come back and attack maybe that next set to your 1 to 3 rep max with a lot more intensity. But don't train for hypertrophy and rest for strength. And don't train for strength and rest for hypertrophy. You have to have just as much of a plan for your rest as you did for your work set, as you do for your overall workout. It's all part of the equation. Okay, last but not least, not by a long shot, if you're a natural lifter and you are trying to build muscle, when it comes to learning the basics here, guys, you must respect your recovery just as much, if not more, than everything else you did up to this point. Because you can get it almost all right, but if you screw up your recovery, you're never going to build muscle. It's just like the guy who walks over the tightrope and he holds that balance beam, right? He's doing great. Except when he gets right to about, I don't know, maybe 90% of the way there, if he falls off then, guess what he is? He's dead. Not close, he's dead. You need to approach your recovery the very same way. That means you need to take seriously your sleep, your nutrition, your supplementation, your management of your own stress levels, all the things that will dramatically impact your ability to either really recover from your training or not recover from your training at all. And just because it's the part that's inactive, the part where you're not doing the pushing or the pulling or the squatting, the stuff that seems boring, it is just as impactful on the overall picture as that element of your training. So guys, make sure you're getting your recovery right. So there you have it, guys. Building Muscle 101. It really isn't, as you can see, that complicated, but it's also not easy because it does take a lot of effort. It's going to require, above anything else, that intensity, and it's also going to require that you are intensely focused on making sure that you are not overlooking any of those elements. Guys, I try to lay it out for you step by step in all of our plans, but the only thing I can't give you the effort. I can only try to pull it out of you. And I will do that. In all of our programs, guys, I try to coach you every single step of the way to make sure that you give me your best effort. But ultimately, the only person that's going to know whether you're doing that or not is you. And I'm trying to encourage you via this video to make sure that you dig deep inside. If building muscle is your goal, realize it's going to take some effort and overload. And I know you got it in you. Hopefully this will bring it out. If you're looking for those programs, guys, it's over at ATHLEAN-X.com. In the meantime, if you found the video helpful, leave your comments and thumbs up below. Let me know what else I can cover for you in these videos, and I will do my best to do that for you in the days and weeks ahead. All right, see you soon.